He lost his job at Men's Health because he made fun of Girl Scouts. Fired from Stuff magazine for paying dwarves to break into a business meeting. His deal at Maxim UK ended without being renewed because circulation dropped while he was in charge. In 2006, Greg Gutfeld had been fired from every big newspaper he had ever worked for. The media elite had written him off as not being able to find work. When Fox News called, they made him an odd offer. They would pay him to host a show at 3 a.m., which was such a dead time that execs joked that the only people who would watch were speed dealers and nursing mothers. No one thought he would last 3 months. In the present day, that same reject has more watchers than Colbert, Fallon, and Kimmel put together. He became the undisputed king of late-night TV, even though he never appeared on late-night TV. But going from being a repeated failure to being the biggest star on TV wasn't just luck. For this, he had to get fired several times, meet a Russian model in Portugal, create a cult following of insomniacs, and totally change the rules of American talk shows. To figure out how a man who couldn't keep a job for more than 2 years became the most watched show during his time slot, we need to look at how. The first act of harm. Gregory John Gutfeld came into the world in San Mateo, California, on September 12, 1964. Jackie, his mother, raised the kids in a Catholic home. Greg went to Junipero's Serra High School when he was younger. It was a Catholic school for boys only, and it produced NFL quarterback Tom Brady and baseball star Barry Bonds. He began going to the University of California, Berkeley, around the middle of the 1980s. This choice would shape the life of a future right media star in ways that were not expected. Berkeley's liberal atmosphere didn't change his mind. It turned him off. After the fact, he said that being around leftists made him more conservative and libertarian. Being around Republicans can help. He noticed that the worst parts of both groups did the same thing. They preached morals and told other people how to live. He didn't want to be a part of either tribe's purity tests. After getting his English degree in 1987, Gutfeld got an internship at the American Spectator, where he did work for the editor of the magazine, R. EMTT Tyrell, who was known for being tough. He learned how right media worked from the inside through this experience. But magazines didn't pay well, so Gutfeld moved on to writing for men's living magazines. He first worked as a writer for Prevention magazine, which was about health. As a result of which he started drinking and using drugs at what his co-workers called an amazing rate. The party life would follow him for many years. In the end, he made it to Men's Health, which was the most popular exercise magazine in the 1990s and was known as the Abs Bible. By 1999, Gutfeld was the main editor of the paper. His magazine for guys was one of the most popular in the United States. He was 35 years old. After that, he was fired. Depending on who told the story, the formal reasons were different. Gutfeld wrote things that made fun of Girl Scouts, cat fans, and even his own boss. The parent company of the magazine decided he wasn't worth the trouble. One news source said that his work history was both amazing and sad. He kept getting to the top of the stairs and then falling back down. But Gutfeld didn't learn to be careful after failing. He made confusion even worse. The next place he went was Stuff magazine, which was all about gadgets, women, and other things that young men were meant to care about. Gutfeld turned it from an average book into a huge bestseller, with readership going from 750,000 to 1.2 million. He completely messed it up, pushing the limits that sponsors were okay with because the numbers kept going up. Then something happened that would make or break his job as a magazine writer. It was called What Gives a Magazine Buzz, and it was put on by the American Society of Magazine Editors in April 2003. For his answer, Gutfeld chose to take the question seriously. His casting agent helped him hire 3 short actors, and he told them to cause as much trouble as possible at the meeting. Making a lot of noise, they ate potato chips. They told the phones keep ringing. They talked loudly while business leaders tried to talk. Security threw them out. The New York Times wrote about it. Gutfeld was fired right away. That would have been the end of most lives. His sure seemed to. Now, no big American newspaper would write about him. He was well known for the wrong reasons. But Greg Gutfeld wasn't happy just being fired from America. He chose to get himself sent to a whole different land. In 2004, London gave Gutfeld a chance to start over. The British version of Maxim needed an editor-in-chief, and it looked like no one in the UK knew about the dwarf episode. They might have also known and not cared. He packed his bags and crossed the Atlantic anyway. During his first week on the job, he had to go to Portugal for a work conference. More than 30 countries added to Maxim, and the distributor got editors from all over the world together to talk about strategy. You can see that Gutfeld went to his hotel room and started to settle in. Then he saw the woman in the room next door. Elena Musa worked as a picture editor for Maxim Russia. She was tall and had dark hair. She began her job as a runway model and then moved on to work in magazines. At the meeting in Portugal, she caught Gutfeld's eye right away. He would later say that it was like he knew it right away. He said to himself, "That's my wife." He just knew it. Elena did not want to be with him, which was a problem. Gutfeld chased her for 3 days, even though he knew it was a stupid idea. She stayed cold, rude, and uninterested. In the short American editor who followed her around everywhere she went. He finally asked her to go on a real date. Yes, she said. There was a change between them. Elena moved from Russia to London to be with him within a few weeks. The friendship grew quickly, which would have looked risky to someone looking in from the outside. Just 5 months had passed since they met, but they got married in New York in a small civic service. The wedding pictures were hard to find. Both of them would rather be private than be known. In his 2008 book, Gutfeld wrote about Elena and how she pushed him to really enjoy London instead of. They are hiding in their flat and watching reality TV. She made him feel stable in a way that he had never felt in a pub or magazine office. But being stable wouldn't help his job. The effects of Gutfeld's time at Maxim UK were not good. Under his guidance, circulation went down. The company didn't renew his deal when it ran out in 2006. He was now 41 years old, out of work again, married, and didn't seem to have any good options. They moved to the city of New York. Elena started her own business as a fashion stylist and finally worked for Venice Magazine, Official, and Design Scene are a few examples. She finished in 2017 from Parsons School of Design. In 2006, though, both Gutfelds were beginning over. Greg took a weird job that looked like it would kill his career. He began writing for the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post was a perfect example of everything Gutfeld didn't like about left media. But the site's founder, Arianna Huffington, let conservatives speak out on it, and Gutfeld saw a chance to cause trouble from within. His job became famous for what people called made fun of his fellow writers like they were crazy. He made fun of Arianna herself. He made fun of other writers. It was a battleground in every comment area because of him. An interesting message caught the eye of another blogger named Andy Levy. They started exchanging jabs and found that they had similar tastes. Dark, sarcastic, and ready to hurt anyone for a laugh. Soon, that internet sparring would turn into something more important. The reason being is that someone at Fox News was watching Gutfeld bother lefties online. Late in 2006, the call came in. Fox News planned to start a late-night show. Did Gutfeld want to know? His answer came right away and was honest. He had no money. Anything was fine with him. Fox flew him to New York so they could meet. The sound was strange. It was time for the network to fill a spot that no one was watching. The show was supposed to run at 2 a.m., but most Americans were already asleep. Gutfeld joked that the target group was made up of prisoners, speed dealers, and nursing moms. A lot of letters came from people in jail. It first aired on February 5, 2007, under the name Redeye. Gutfeld was looking forward to weeks of practice and careful planning. Instead, execs told him they would begin in 3 days. The team worked on their moves in the green room. Everyone, even the cameraman, had something to drink. There was more of a house party vibe than a TV studio vibe. When Redeye first aired at 2 a.m., Fox executives saw the early episodes and thought the material was too racy for that time. Moving it to 3 a.m., when fewer people would see it and complain, was their answer. Gutfeld was now demoted on his own show before it even got any viewers. But in the middle of the night, something strange happened. Redeye gained a cult following. The structure of the show went against everything you know about cable news. Gutfeld would welcome panelists with ridiculously high praise. They talked about everything from politics to pop culture to silliness. Nothing. It was holy. There was nothing holy. People started making fun of Fox News all the time. The jokes were dark, silly, and completely different from anything else on TV. Andy Levy, who used to fight with Seinfeld on the Huffington Post, joined the show as a mediator. Bill Schultz, a co-worker from the days when Gutfeld Stuff magazine existed, was chosen to be the sidekick. The three of them got along surprisingly well. Levy was the deadpan snark machine. Schultz was the easy-to-like loss. Like a naughty ringmaster, Gutfeld was in charge of all the chaos. Jackie Gutfeld, Gutfeld's mother, showed up a lot on Redeye. He called her a senior correspondent and said it was a joke that she was old. She had to watch Fox News during the day and tell everyone what she saw. She kept saying that the women on TV and in films wore skirts that were too short. Gutfeld would say that other watchers liked those skirts. The way the mother and son interacted with each other on camera made it seem real. Gutfeld used to feel bad about introducing his friends to his parents when he was younger. As an adult, he saw that those same friends liked hanging out with Jackie more than with him. Getting together with him. People liked her because she was honest and straightforward. She always stood by her son, even when it looked like his plans were doomed to fail. It wasn't supposed to work, Redeye. A show at 3 a.m. with no budget, cameramen who looked like they were drunk, and topics that seemed to be picked at random had no business getting people to watch. The numbers did go up, though. Even though it aired in the middle of the night, the show started to do better than primetime TV news shows. Then, in July 2011, Fox